Here's a Kada Scott update. Unfortunately, it's not a good one. This is JLR Investigates. Let's get into it.
Time to find Scott, who police say vanished mid-shift while working at this assisted living facility in Philadelphia nearly 2 weeks ago.
We need to find Miss Scott, figure out where she is, or what may have happened to her to cause her to completely disappear from all her items, her phone.
Authorities say they believe Scott was last in contact with 21-year-old King, arrested and charged with kidnapping and recklessly endangering another person, and is being held on a $2.5 million bail. Investigators say before Scott disappeared, she told relatives she was being harassed, though it has yet to be determined if the person harassing her was King. But officials say their suspect does have a pattern of similar crimes.
He did have a previous case. It was a 2025 case for very similar conduct, strangulation and kidnapping. That case had been withdrawn by our office based on the witness failing to appear at court. I pulled that file, and after an extensive review of it, our office made the decision to refile those charges.
Investigators relying on tips from the public, crediting one of those tips with helping to find the suspect's car. Scott's family not giving up hope, urging anyone with information to speak up.
If you have any information, small, large, minuscule, please reach out to the Philadelphia Police Department and let them know that may be the piece that they're looking for. We all miss it, we want a home.
And again, that suspect is facing kidnapping charges, even as police continue looking for Kada. He's being held on a $2.5 million bond. He has not entered a plea, but guys, we've reached out to his attorney for comment.
Hopefully.
Go away, don't come over here. Can't call the cops.
This dude is weird.
Call it. It's all these here. Call the cops. Go away, don't come over here. Call it. It's all these here. Call the cops. Yeah, go away, bye. Go away. Yep, bye. Bye. Get over here.
Crazy, folks. Crazy. That guy there. He's responsible for this. Absolutely. He's responsible. Keon King. Justice. They're not going to play with this guy anymore. This guy's going to SCI Phoenix. He's going to Camp Hill. He's going to state prison for the rest of his life. He's going to prison the rest of his life.
Nearly 2 weeks since 23-year-old Kada Scott went missing. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner giving new details on the suspect in her disappearance. Keon King and asking any other potential victims to come forward with any information in this case. Thanks for joining us here on Fox Local on the 10 o'clock news. I'm Jason Martinez.
And I'm Dawn Timony. King has been arrested and charged with kidnapping Scott, but there is still no sign of where the young woman could be. And Ellen, you've been speaking with family members who have lots of questions, but obviously just want her home.
Yeah, absolutely. So many questions surrounding why Keon King was out on bail after being accused in another case. But really, Kada Scott's family, they just want answers. And they say what really matters now is just getting her home.
We're just trying to stay hopeful. We just want, Kada to come home. And we just want some information.
We got to keep praying. We got to keep hoping. We got to keep believing. We know the city of Philadelphia is behind us. Kim can feel your prayers. We can feel your love.
Kada Scott's aunts say her mother Kim is too overwhelmed to talk, but they want everyone to know they feel all the love and support since the 23-year-old went missing on October 4th.
We take pride in everything that the city is doing right now, and we are grateful and we appreciate it. On behalf of our family, we are really grateful.
Even grateful for strangers who turned out to pray outside Kada's work for her safe return.
God has sent us here to remind everyone here in this facility, in this neighborhood, and everyone watching at home that God is a miracle worker. And a miracle is on the way.
Meantime, DA Larry Krasner faced tough questions about why 21-year-old Keon King was out on bail after this widely shared video shows King leering into another woman's window in a prior kidnapping case that was withdrawn in May. He first blamed cash bail, then judges, then eventually took some responsibility.
We could have done better in that.
Why didn't you?
Approach to the case.
If y'all could have did better, why the hell did y'all do better?
Video evidence. That is not usually an easy thing to do. I would say with 20/20 hindsight, it's something that could have been done. And I own that. I mean, ultimately, the buck stops here.
There was a lot of talk about things that should have been done. It's kind of too late for that for us. So that's a procedural issue that definitely needs to be looked at. But right now, we're not getting into the procedural issues. You know, should he have been let out?
Kada's family just wants to focus on getting the word out that investigators need help and that more victims might be out there.
Anybody that knows anything, we're just asking you to please do the right thing. Contact the detectives, whoever you need to contact.
Now, there's also a GoFundMe with a reward for any possible credible information that could help in this case, and that's on our website. That's where you can find it. And again, if you have any information about Kada Scott or about any other possible victims connected to this situation, please reach out to Philadelphia Police immediately.
Crazy, right? Krasner, the district attorney. And then we look, there was literally a video, Crime Chronicle said. Exactly. You have video evidence of stalking. It's a video. Got video evidence, folks. So, again, it's her. It's her. Very, very sad. This guy's going to be held accountable. He'll be spending the rest of his life in prison. So, I'm sure we'll probably get an additional press conference on this. Just wanted to pop by and share that they are at this old school. Folks, you don't have to be victimized out there. You have some sort of creepy stalker or things that are going on. Notify police, take precautionary measures, document everything, film everything. There are psychopaths out there. Creepy people. Creepy people. This guy has a track record of doing this to females. And there probably is other victims out there. There probably is other females out there in the Philadelphia or New Jersey area, Delaware, in that area that might be, you know, that are missing, that might be like as a result of Keon King. Arm yourselves too. That's what I heard in the chat. All right, I'm gonna blow myself up here. Stay safe out there, folks. Crazy
And self-defense is also something
right,
that women
I'll
need to
you,
look into.
Anything else breaks or anything like that, it's her. It's Kada. It's Kada. It's hard. Stay safe, folks. JLR Investigates. Thanks for watching. We'll talk soon.
Let me see if anybody else is talking about it. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, this
came
is
for
another guy.
came for them to show up into court. She did not show. She was a no-show. So those charges dropped. Those charges were dropped. Does that sound just? Does that sound right to you? Don't worry, we got more. Because he's done more than just that, guys. We find out. And I did a short about this yesterday. This is why I tell you guys to watch the shorts, okay? Make sure you have that notification bell on, because a lot of times, there's times I don't have time to sit down in here and tell you guys a full, do a whole 15-minute video. Sometimes I only got time to do a quick 90-second blurb, okay? Video, all right? So, those charges gone, because she didn't show. And I understand. I am mad at her. I get it. I understand. You get scared of those things. You're worried about if the charges don't go through, that this mother, you know what I mean? He gonna find out where you live and make your life a living hell.
Yep.
He'll just keep going back, and he'll never stop, right? It's annoying. I get it. But here's the thing. There's more. So before the remains were found, or these remains were found, and like I said, it may be that this may be the tail end of Kada Scott's search, the story of her search. Now we go into justice mode, right? If these remains are hers, given the fact that they say that it's not like the remains have been there for a very long time, and also that she's female, or the remains are female, and the items that they found in the same area, I mean, you can do the math, okay? You can do the math. But during this time, yesterday, I did a short, and I want to share those pieces of information with you guys. First and foremost, her father, who has been advocating for her discovery, for her to come home, he posted a $10,000 reward for anyone that has any information about her whereabouts, right? That's one piece of information. And of course, now this may be the end of it, so we'll find out more. But here's the other piece. This is crazy. He has, not had, but has, an active protection from abuse order from another victim. A third victim. You got the first victim where he took that woman against her will with his two-year-old in the car. She ran off. She got away. He attacked her, and she ran away, right? So that's one. Then you got Kada. And also now you have this active protection from abuse order from a third victim. And that is still active right now, till 2027. This is a very violent individual. Oh, let's not forget this too. I'm sorry. One of the other really important parts too is that he's a suspect in a prior R case. Yeah. By a whole other victim. So that makes it 4 victims. 4 of them. This person is on a rampage. For what reason? We do not know. But he's the full embodiment of the devil. I don't care, I said it. Yeah, it's pig vomit, like, but like, woo! He, like, I don't even know what to call him. It's like a serial pig vomit? Maybe? Because he wasn't just doing it to one person, he kept going off to other people, you feel me? Full embodiment of the devil, right here. But let's go back to that screen, that sky cam. Okay, so you guys can see this too. And again, y'all,
This is sad.
that should have been locked up.
Exactly.
After the first offense.
This guy should have been
now,
in
should
jail.
that only be on the woman, on the victim that didn't show up? Like, come on now. It can't only be on her. It's the justice system. What happened here is bad. I'm sure they had enough to take that man down the first time.
They had to.
And they didn't. They didn't take him down. He had a bail that was pretty low during that time as well, so he was able to bail out. I think it was a $2,500 bail or something crazy like that. So he was able to just pay that part, pay whatever percentage he has to pay out, and then kick mother-loving rocks. Only to continue to do this ish over and over and over again 4 times. 3 times after attacking that young woman. Like I said, there's in no way, shape, or form would I ever go and try to victim blame, right? We all got better things to do than that. Because what would you do if you were in that situation and you got somebody coming to your home like this? And we don't know the origin story of how he even knew where those 2 girls lived in that really creepy video. In fact, I'm going to pull that up so you guys can see that too, just to take a little trip down memory lane, because some of y'all aren't savvy to this stuff. And this dude, woo, I don't know how he knows. I don't know how he knew this girl and where this woman lived, but this is some crazy, creepy stuff that no one should ever have to go through and experience. Hold on. Yeah, I want you guys to relive this one last time, because I just want you guys to see this, because again, the system failed. The system failed these victims. And if that is Kada, which I have a feeling it really is, they failed Kada as well. Okay? I mean, people are literally going like, yo, the DA jacked this up. They flat out refused to request a higher bond, and King was quickly released. Now he's making it. Now, of course, they're going after the DA because the DA said they're going like, we don't discriminate. We don't discriminate on financially against people. Against
Bullshit.
These guys that are getting charged or
That's bullshit.
alleged of doing these certain things. We try to give them opportunities, and it's like, no, you're giving these guys opportunities to get back out there to do bad things. That's it. If this guy was caught red-handed doing these unthinkable things, literally napping somebody, okay, holding that person captive, that's a big problem. Okay, that's a big problem. Take a look at this. Y'all don't remember this? Like I said before, Keon, this you?
Carter, is all these kids here? Carter Tossie's them, bitch.
You heard that? All these kids here. All these kids here. He doesn't care. Hold on, I'm sorry for going back and, I'm just telling you, look at this dude. You tell me this is normal? You tell me this is normal? You tell me this is normal? You are not wrong with that. With your DV case, it didn't matter if I didn't show up. The state would still pursue charges and a conviction.
Bingo.
I'm assuming Virginia.
Sure hell would. Especially in
Not every
Virginia.
state is like that.
Especially in Virginia. South Carolina,
This guy should
same
have
way.
been tried, convicted, and thrown into a jail cell, a prison cell, for what he did. Like I said, when it comes to acts of S violence, of the taking kind, of the S violence kind, of the R kind, of the littles kind as well, there should be zero tolerance on that stuff. He learned his lesson. Let him back out. Well, we don't have the victim here, so we can't really press charges on it. Case dismissed. She's not here. But they have all this bloody burning evidence, right? That they could literally throw the book, the doggone library at this mother lover, and they don't. What's up with that? There should be zero tolerance. I don't know if you saw Ashley Banfield or Justin, the Nick of Crime, because he's been covering that as well. He invited me onto a TikTok live, about earlier last week, if I'm correct. And he was telling me, and this other guy, it's Missing in USA, I think, Missing in USA, if I'm correct on TikTok. But anyway, they brought me on this conversation. And I know Ashley Banfield just brought up the conversation as well with Justin as well, because real talk, there's another guy out here, a kid, he's a kid himself, that was out here just straight up serial R-ing people. He was supposed to spend like 79 years in prison for the things that he did, being tried as an adult, and he was looking at some serious time. And all of a sudden, he gets a slap on the wrist. Not even a slap, it was like a tap. It was like a touch on the wrist. Okay? A touch. That's it. For doing unbelievable things to all these victims. Multiple victims, guys. All right? And now you got this guy, a repeat offender that keeps on slipping through the cracks.
Yep.
And what did he do now? I hate to say it, but you know for a fact, Kada, it's going to be a tragic end for Kada. This is not a situation where it's all going to be just fine and just groovy. No, it's not. I'm sorry to say that. But this is a violent individual where there should have been zero tolerance on, and this guy should have had the freaking library thrown at this mother lover. And guess what happened? Look at where we're at right now. You see what I'm saying? This is what burns my cookies, man.
It's all these kids here. Call the cops, you dumb bitch. You're coming around the window. Go that way, Cameron. Yeah, bitch, go away, bye. Go away, bye. Yep, bye. Bye. Keanu.
I'm playing it again. This is crazy. He hopped over the fence, and look how he's like, wow. Like, yeah. You know,
Y'all heard that right. To stalk this person, this dude literally climbed over a fence to look into this person's window. That right there should have told you this some bitch crazy.
I'm freaking Spider-Man. Look at this.
Karen, call the cops. Karen, call the cops. Call the... It's all these kids here. Call the cops, you dumb bitch.
I also want to point out, we already heard the audio before. I just want to point this out, okay? This woman knows who this guy is. Right when he walks up to the door, right when he walks up to the window, she already knows who this dude is. So clearly there's a history of him already trying to reach out to her in some creepy, messed up, and stalkerish type of way. This guy is a straight up creepazoid. I feel like that is fair for us to agree on, okay? This is a very messed up individual that has some serious, deep-rooted problems. And he's not going to get that figured out just by having one conversation, one session, if you get what I'm saying. He's going to need some serious professional help. And he was still out here driving around in his hoopty, okay? His gold metallic plated mother-loving hoopty, looking for his next victim. We're gonna go back to that screen, the sky view, okay? Because again, this is just jacked up, y'all. Jacked up. I'm telling y'all, this is the reason why any of y'all who have daughters, shoot, at this point it doesn't even matter if it's a daughter or a son. People are disgusting out here. Do you know how many stories we're hearing right now? Man, I'm gonna let this roll. I'm gonna let this cook, but I need to talk to y'all. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to put facts in y'all's brains, okay? It's time to wake up. We live in some nasty, mucky, nasty, nasty times, okay? Doesn't even matter if you're a boy or a girl. Now, don't get me wrong. Girls, you know, I worry for y'all, okay? Always keep your head on a swivel. Always have something on you, pepper spray, whatever the hell. Whatever, okay? Keep it with you at all times. Do not play. And if you are traveling out here, moving out here in these streets, if you maneuver out here in these streets, make sure you're maneuvering with people with you that you trust. Not just this random guy who, he has a nice smile, so I trust him. No! Make sure you travel in packs. I know that sounds weird. But right now we live in some crazy times where people are just getting snatched right off the streets. Dudes are actually trying to traffic women from bars and clubs.
He ain't lying.
Getting successful at it. Oh yeah, we got this really great spot. Let me go and, hey, why don't you come with me? I got this bottle service over here at this other club. Come with me though. Sure, yes. Susan, you want to go? Yeah, I don't want to pay any more of these drinks. So then you guys go. And then guess what happens? 2 steps out at the bar, in a shadowy area, you're taken. Seriously. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to spit facts. Let me talk about the fellas, though. Fellas, boys, mamas, fathers, keep an eye on your sons, too. Because we got more and more stories of these teachers, y'all, doing unbelievable, deplorable things with our sons. I'm just telling you. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. We are living in some crazy times. You know how many stories we're hearing right now? Every time I open up, it feels like every time I open up Daily Mail. Come on now, Daily Mail. We hear a new story about she's a freshman high school teacher, a freshman history teacher, and she's just having relations with 3 kids from her history class. Or how about the one where the girl likes to get ran through while guys, these high school students, are wearing a freaking scream mask, for crying out loud. I'm telling you right now, that's not a joke. That's not a joke. That is real. There's a woman out here that has been sliding in her kids' DMs, her students' DMs. Happily married woman, having these boys showing up wearing scream masks to run through her.
Weird ass shit.
That's just one example, though. That's just one. There's a cornucopia of other ones, y'all. It's bad. I got a fly in here. Okay? It stinks so bad a fly is in here. Okay? It's bad. But I'm telling you right now, you can't sit there and go, my son's gonna be fine. No, he might not. We gotta be careful out here, y'all. We are living in some nasty, mother-loving times. And it doesn't matter. I know how it's like, oh, it doesn't matter because it's, when it's girls, it's terrible. But it's a boy. It's my boy. It's a boy. It's okay. No, it's not okay. The double standard is unbelievable out here in these streets, and it should not be okay. It's still R. It's still SA. It is still doing things with somebody who's a little. Doesn't matter if it's male or female. Protect your children. Implement these safety protocols immediately and make sure that they do not play around. Seriously. I'm so sick and tired of seeing these kinds of stories. Now, if it's not in an affluent, gifted, beautiful woman, it's a innocent 6-month-old baby boy or baby, right? Evil comes in so many different faces, wears so many different masks.
Mm-hmm.
And it can come at you at any moment. Doesn't matter if you're 22 or you're 2 months old. So keep your heads on a swivel, y'all. Hold on 1 second.
Something else happened?
I just want to see if there's... Okay. We got something. Let's take a look. So, of course, you know, they just moved the remains into a van. Okay? And, of course, they're transporting that van, of course, the remains to to the coroner's office, I'm sure, to run tests to make sure that it is indeed Kada Scott. I feel like it's safe to say that it is, and that we just saw the end to this chapter of trying to find Kada Scott. But we do have something from police. It looks like they are out here talking about some stuff. So this just happened. So let's take a look at this as well.
An update on the case regarding 23-year-old Kada Scott, who was missing on October 4th. A little bit of a somber and grateful moment here right now. Based on tips that have come in over the past few days, as we called on earlier this week, asking for the public to provide any information, any tips, and the public has been fantastic in providing tips and information, and we greatly appreciate that. But based on a tip that came in last night through the night, investigators began the process of following up on that tip this morning, starting around 10 o'clock this morning, following up on that tip. And the tip was very specific that led us back to this location here today. Which you all know, we were out here earlier in the week doing a little bit of a search. And so based on the investigative information, based on the investigation and what they were following up on that tip today, led us back to this area behind the school where it's a wooded area. It's back there, but it's a wooded area that goes beyond the school. And so when we begin to go back into that area where we could locate a shallow grave after being able to remove some of the debris back there, able to locate the body of a human being. All indications at this point is that it's a female. We are not going to confirm at this point that it is Miss Kada Scott because that has to be done by the medical examiner's office. But we have been in communication with her family as to this process and the fact that we recover a human being. And so at this point, there's still a lot of work to be done. I'll be very candid that we can't answer but so many questions. I'm not going to get into the investigation at this point because we want to make sure that all of the pieces to this are done correctly and that we don't put out information ahead of time. Because we want the people, the person that we have in custody and anybody else that may be involved in this, we want them held accountable to the highest degree of the law.
Now, I want to make this abundantly clear really quick. I don't mean to interrupt, okay? But he ain't talking. Keon King is not really talking. He's turned himself in for show, but he ain't talking. So they went out there and found her. They put in the time to try to find her, and they did. So that tells me one thing. He ain't talking. He said he did something, I'm sure, but he hasn't given much information outside of that. Okay? So I want to make that abundantly clear. So I don't know if he's going to be saying much, even after the fact. But you can tell that this guy was lurking. He went out of his way, lurking. I don't know how he found out where she worked or anything of that sort, I don't know. But it is some creepy stuff that he would be able to do that. But if you look at the video that we've all seen, that we just saw, where he has gone out of his way to hop over a fence trying to get these two girls, which he eventually got one of the girls. He eventually nabbed one of those girls. It's not like he just hopped over some random fence and he goes, oh, two girls, perfect. You see what I'm saying? He knew that person. They knew him as well. He was not a stranger at this point. So it does make you wonder, what's the story? Did he just find her online and just become obsessed? Did she smile at him one day? Talked to him for a second? Exchanged information only to find out that, he's crazy. You see what I'm saying? I got questions, y'all. I got questions.
Yeah, what? Yeah, how?
So I just want that to be clear as to why we will not get into specific details. And so that's where we're at this point. Still a lot of work, but I must say a lot of work has been done around this case. As you know, we've been searching, have done multiple searches. We shut down the police academy. That was a decision made by myself and Commissioner Bethel to shut down the police academy over a week ago, where we brought out the entire group of recruits to comb through this area. Again, so I know, listen, no one is happy that this is the ending, and completely understand that this is a lot on our investigators, a lot on all of us, because again, we all have family members, and this could have been any one of our family members. It could be anybody's family member, and that's understood.
You hear what he's saying, right? He's saying it without actually saying it, but he slipped up right there. You know that, right?
That's the reason that we see the tireless work that's been done by, starting with Northwest Detectives, and then by Homicide, by our partners through the FBI, through our forensics office, through any and everybody that has been a part of
They
this
had
process,
everybody out there.
because we wanted to bring some level of closure to this family. So again, we're going to wait until we have official confirmation on, as the medical examiner is going to do their process, and then we will bring that confirmation. But that's where we are right now. Again, I can't reiterate enough how much we appreciate, the tips and information that have come in from the public. I still will urge the public that if you have any information, anything that you think is related to this, continue to give us that information via 215-686-TIPS. Still continue to give us that information, because again, we don't know if there are other individuals that have been a victim of this individual that we have in custody. And so I just want that to be clear, that please continue to provide that information if you have anything. But that's where we are at this point. I would also ask you to continue to pray for Ms. Scott's family.
What's the process of getting that official confirmation of record and interpret?
Well, at this point now, we're on the medical examiner's timeline. And so they will, the body will be recovered and transported to the medical examiner's office, and then they will go through their.
Some glitchy stuff there, guys. Just let it rock out. Oh, that's tragic. Okay, there.
Very tragic.
Oh, come on. That bad? There we go.
You two been acting weird lately, man.
It's not an easy process. And when you... a lot of wooded area. And so
Yeah, they got, wherever they were was like shoddy signal.
That we're here. Make no mistake about it, if we had located the body yesterday, this, in terms of this discovery would not, this person has been deceased for a few days, so for some time. I'm not going to say how many days, but this didn't just happen yesterday. And so, yeah, we did a lot of work. Again, I'm proud of the men and women in this organization that have, been doing the work to try to locate Ms. Scott. And again, in our minds, we know this was a possible reality, and here we are. There's a timeline of what?
In terms of when she went missing and
how long it looks like that's
As I said,
around?
I am not going to get into any of the investigative process because I don't want to mess up this case. And I don't want anyone picking apart what we said and trying to create a defense. I want to make sure that we do our job in the most diligent way, give the district attorney's office an opportunity to do their job in the most diligent way, and that we get a prosecution on this incident here. And so I'm not going to get into any parts of the investigation, not out of disrespect, but just simply because I want to make sure that the person in custody and anybody else that was involved in this, that they are held accountable the way that they should.
That makes sense. And just so you guys know, if you're watching on TikTok, we're listening to the police, and the police are talking about after her body has been, or these remains have been found. They're basically saying, hey, we're not going to give you guys much information right now because we don't want to give these evildoers, these monsters, an opportunity to come up with some sort of defense, right? We want to hold all this stuff as best as we can, close to the vest, so that when we go and convict and go after this guy, they have nothing. They can't just come up with some sort of excuse, right? So again, it makes total sense. And I wish more police officers would explain it just like this to the public. Because sometimes they're just like, can't give you much after that, ma'am. Sorry. Can't say. I appreciate him explaining this. Like, hey, we ain't gonna give you much, with all due respect. And I understand everybody's mad, but it's because we don't want the bad guys to win here. We want to come to them in a trial and let them get the whole book thrown right up their asses, right? So this makes total sense to me.
So that's why I'm not getting into the specifics of the case.
The specific tip that you made, can you go into more detail about what was specific about it? Is it in location or anything from the community member?
I won't get into the specifics. It was an anonymous tip that came in through our tip line.
An anonymous tip?
We have been asking for. But it was very specific as to detailing us and directing us to a specific location in the wooded area, going back to your question.
Okay.
A very specific location that narrowed it down. Don't know who the tip is from, but grateful that the individual submitted the tip that brought us back here to this location this morning.
Okay, so very, very long story short, there was an anonymous tip that brought them back to this location, and that's where they were able to find the remains of a female. This is her. This is her. This is Kada. That's for sure. So now I'm wanting to know, they better trace that phone call. Because how would this other person know? Unless Keon, this monster, called up somebody and said, I did this and I put her exactly here. You see what I'm saying? Either somebody else knew or there's somebody else that was a part of this too. It's either one. Either somebody like found out from him, he like confessed things to this person before he was locked up, before he turned himself in, or this person was a part of the crime too. So now we understand. They were able to find those remains specifically in that particular area because of an anonymous tip. So I feel like it would be safe to say, unless the other option is there's A, B, and C. The anonymous tip is somebody who actually knew him, knew Keon, and Keon confessed to him in some sort of that particular person, that anonymous person in some sort of way, or that anonymous person was a part of the crime, or this anonymous person was in the area and found the remains themselves and made the anonymous tip and called it in. That's possible too, right? So you got A, B, or C. I'm leaning towards the A or B, okay? Now, if this is somebody else who is involved, I'm hoping that they take him down. The tarot detective just said he talked to his mama. Maybe he did talk to his mama. Maybe that's where the anonymous tip is actually from. But God only knows, right? We'll see. We'll see. But nonetheless, this all sprung and sprouted from an anonymous tip. So it's not like they were out there looking all over the place and then they stumbled upon her. They got an anonymous tip. And then
Get some light in here.
they went into that specific area and found her. This person gave them specifics of location, etc. And then they went to that location and found her, or found these remains. So yes, I mean, this is definitely Kada, okay? I mean, we can basically say that they found Kada, but it does make you wonder, who is the person that made that anonymous tip? But let's continue on. That's very interesting information there.
Forget the cursing and yelling. It just shows that there's passion behind this. What are you going to say about the passion community? They were out here, as you know, last night searching as well. Just your thoughts and just the communities involved in this case.
Listen, I am not offended by the passion that some of the remarks that have been made as we were walking back. I'm not offended at all, because that's people's emotion. And this is an emotional situation, and so it's to be understood. However, I know what we have done, and the amount of hours that have been put into this process of trying to locate Ms. Scott. I know the work that's been done to bring the individual into custody.
Truly is a damn shame.
And I know the work that these investigators will continue to do to ensure that we wrap this up and that we do everything to hold the people accountable in the proper way. And so I'm not, listen, we can't be upset at that. I mean, that's emotion. If that was my family member, or if I was someone I knew, I would have the same level of emotion. And listen, to be quite frank about it, the reason I go through the steps of what we have done is because not every community member, they don't know that we shut down the police academy to bring 300 recruits up here to go searching through an area. They don't know that. They don't know that we had teams of dogs from New Jersey State Police coming to Philadelphia to help us in the search process. They don't know that. And so it's my job to make sure that I express that, so they know that this police department, we took this case serious, we take every case serious, but the work that's been done to again, bring this to some conclusion. Is this the conclusion that we wanted? Absolutely not. But at this point now, we have to do everything in our power to ensure that we bring justice for this family and some level of closure. And so, to answer that, no, it's understandable. Listen, that passion you need, because that's also the passion that helps you drive in the tips. That's the passion that gets you to have the support from the community and getting the information that we got. So it's understandable. Absolutely.
Once an individual represents Kada, what does this mean for you?
It means that we do our job. It means that we take everything that we know.
To the damn library at this mother level.
Do what they do, and then everything will come to us, and we'll make the determination of whether we add additional charges. Once we hear from the ME, I'll have a better answer on that. Obviously, we're like you said, we're going in order right now. We're onto the ME. They're going to do their investigation. As soon as we hear from them, it'll guide us in what we do.
Again, guys, this is obviously very, very sad stuff. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on this. I just wanted to give you guys all the breaking information that they have been putting out here. They, of course, like I said just a little bit ago, just did that little impromptu press conference. And I do appreciate them being as transparent and being as open as possible. But it sounds like this is Kada Scott's remains, for sure. If you get an anonymous tip and then you go to that specific area and find a female body, and I'm sure closely matches to Kada, I feel like it's safe to say that this is definitely Kada. Now again, it angers me, man. It angers me so much because this type of stuff, like I said before, shouldn't be happening. We need to be taking care of ourselves and taking care of our loved ones. And monsters like this should have been locked up a long time ago. He's locked up now, but that's not without doing all kinds of terrible things. 4 different victims. One now, if my calculations are correct, one now deceased.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? One now deceased. After an anonymous tip, and they went out to that area right next to this abandoned middle school, only to find the remains of Kada Scott. Again, you know, my heart and my thoughts and prayers go out to the family in all of this. This is just absolutely insane. But of course, if there's new updates, okay, I'll let you guys know. But I truly believe the justice system done mucked this up. The justice system dropped the ball on this situation big time. She should still be alive, y'all. And all those other victims should not be victims. Real talk. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Of course, if you can.
What happened to Kada Scott is heartbreaking. Ladies, if you do not travel by yourselves. Do not travel by yourselves. Do not be afraid to use the Second Amendment. Okay, and also if you have a boyfriend or a husband, be best to travel with him. However, if you do not have a boyfriend or a husband, learn self-defense and carry a weapon on you. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.